Hey, good evening, everyone. I think given the fact that we have already 2 minutes, 3 minutes past 5 o'clock, I'll just get started. Thanks everyone for taking the time and joining us at 5 o'clock today as another episode of Giraffe Connect. In this particular session, our primary objective is for us to kind of a little bit talk about real estate debt as an alternative investment. We'll also go a little bit inside about how we source the different type of real estate opportunities in terms of investments for our customers, and what is the Giraffe strategy when we kind of source this, and where do we specialize, and what are the ways we structured the deal, what are the risk covenants that we put in to kind of de-risk as much as possible for the investors. We'll cover all of those, and as part of the conversation, we'll take questions at the end. We'll try to make sure that all your questions are answered before we end the session. And to introduce myself, I'm Jayaprakash, and I'm the Jiraaf. I manage growth and customer relations at Jiraaf. Before this, I've been about 18 years in the financial services space across different functions and different business lines. Along with me, I have the pleasure of Vineet as well, who's a co-founder of Jiraaf, and I'll let Vineet talk about himself.
Yeah, thanks, JP, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Quick background. I'm also from financial services industry. Prior to starting Giraffe, I have over a decade of experience in doing real estate investment specifically, and that is what I'm here to talk about today. Over to you, JP.
Yeah, thanks, Vineet. I mean, just make sure that you feel free to ask questions. As I said, I'll try to make sure that we have enough time at the end to kind of answer all your questions, but we'll try to answer as many questions as possible as part of the session. Given that there's always going to be few people who are joining us and who have not attended any of our prior webinars, so I'll just cover briefly about, give me 2, 3 minutes. I'll just cover about Giraffe, and then we'll cover the main topic of real estate. With that said, yes, broadly for folks who are new, right? So Giraffe, we started September 2021. So we have been now going to be close to 2 years now. I think next month, and by next month, then will be around 2 years. And all the folks that we are with Giraffe, at least in leadership team, if you think about it, we have over together more than 100 years of experience, and all of us have worked in large financial services organizations and non-financial organizations, domestic market, international market, come with several decades of experience. And we wanted to kind of bring and try to introduce something new for our clients and customers, and that's how our journey has begun. I'm not going to go in detail of each and everybody, but Saurav Ghosh is the other co-founder of Giraffe, and Saurav also has got more than decades of experience. He also spent a lot of time in the real estate sector, but he also spent other areas as well. Along with that, there are a lot of folks who have come from different backgrounds and industries and who have got a lot of experience as well. We are backed by Axel Partners and a whole slew of other investors who believed in us and continue to believe in us as we kind of started our journey. And Giraffe, as such, focuses on fixed income investment products to help the individual investors have exposure to these kind of products which were before they were not able to have access to. And along with their overall investment portfolio, ability for them to allocate some of their portfolio in fixed income investments that are beyond just the fixed deposits or certificates of deposit they might have, provides them an opportunity to get good yields at the same time, have a good diversified portfolio broadly, right? So we kind of have a lot of different type of products because we want to make sure that our customers have the opportunity to participate in a very good amount of choices of product categories that we can think of, right? There's one side on the government securities we have, then the corporate debt side, unlisted side. We have typical unlisted bonds and commercial papers that we do, each having different type of tenures, and returns that customers get is tied to the risk profile of the borrower, but it kind of ranges anywhere from 8 to 15 if you're talking about unlisted bond. Invoice discounting we do as well. Real estate, debt sector, we have done quite a lot of deals in the real estate side, and one we will talk a little bit more today as well. And we also talk about what type of real estate category we kind of focus on. So that's one thing. We've done leasings. We also done some venture debt opportunities tied to it. So I think our journey is always about focusing on the fixed income side and try to create choices. Choices not only on the product category side, but also borrowers within this product category, so that we give those choices to the investors, so that they have an ability to kind of build a portfolio within the fixed income space, right? So that's how our journey has been. It's going to be 2 years, and in this 2 years time period, we have grown not only from a standpoint of users that are coming to our platform. And one thing I'll probably call out is we just don't, every opportunity that you see on the platform is curated by us. What it means is we engage the conversation with the borrower right from day one and have this conversation to curate it, look at it, risk, evaluate for risk. And we have internal committees, a process to kind of go through, vet it financially, and then once we feel deemed very good for the client and investors, that's when we bring the opportunity into the platform. And then we inform. So our journey is not about just bringing a deal that was there. It's about curating the deal right from scratch and bringing it to the platform and creating the choices. And we have grown in this now close to going to be 2 years from where we are to what we are today, about 125,000 registered investors on the platform. We have done about 2,200 100 crores of investments, returning about 1,400 plus crores back as repayments back to our investors. And given the fact that we are very thorough in our vetting and everything so far, we are zero defaults till take. So that's the journey for us broadly. And with that said, I'll go into the main topic of today, which is real estate as a category of investments broadly. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So I think Vineet, this is where I wanted to jump in. I think one of the things fundamentally the question always comes is, okay, real estate as a category. I've invested in real estate. I own bought a place and everything. How is it tied to from a debt investment standpoint when you have exposure to real estate?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for asking this question, JP. So, see, in India, I would say typically anyone having an exposure in real estate is via either buying a house for themselves or maybe buying an office for themselves. However, if you look at it logically, there is a very high entry barrier to that. So, even if you want to buy a house, say today in Bangalore, you will not get anything less than maybe a 50 lakhs or maybe a 75 lakh rupees, right? So,
Yeah.
that's the minimum amount that you need to have an exposure in the real estate sector.
Yep.
But what has happened is that, over last couple of years, real estate as an asset class, debt investment in real estate as an asset class has picked up globally. And you will see that, there are many, many global funds, corporate houses, family offices are now investing and having a large exposure in the real estate sector in this mode, wherein they are participating via debt instrument, via NCDs in real estate projects. Here the benefit is that for the same 50 lakh rupees you can diversify across maybe 5 projects. If you have 1 lakh rupee, also you can invest in a real estate asset class. Plus this product is interest bearing, it has great security package, you have hypothecation of cash flows, you take personal guarantees of promoter, you take share pledge as a security. So basically, this investment is secured by the underlying collateral. We have a lot of covenants, and hence, a good portion of everyone's investment people have started allocating to this asset class as well.
Got it. So broadly, so as an investor, I come in, I just purchase a particular unit in that investment, and for that, over a period of time, I get payments in interest and the principal coming back. And that's
Yes.
how an investors need to see it.
Yes, and we also control the escrow. So our entire
Yep.
project cash flow is controlled in an escrow account, which is managed by us. And so, there is a very slim probability of, funds flow going here and there. And that cash flow is only utilized basically to repay all the investors.
Perfect. Perfect. So with that said, we'll go into the category, right? Because people, when they think about real estate, there's so many different categories. Maybe you can shed some light around what are the different categories and where Jira focuses that will kind of be beneficial.
So see, broadly, real estate has four different categories, which we have listed on the left hand side. One is the land, which is basically plotted development. What this asset class is that, the developer basically takes a larger portion of land, say for example a 10-acre land parcel. They will provide basic infrastructure, which is they will provide sewerages, they will provide electricity, and they will provide water. They will cut that land into small plots, okay, of say 1200, 1500, 2000 square feet, and then they sell these plots. This is the most basic form of real estate development that a developer does. Now, in this form, you have extremely low approval risk because there are only one or two departments basically that you need to go to get the approval for the project. You have very low development risk because you are not doing any construction per se. The entire development, that is providing severages, water, and electricity, is done, in less than a year or so for a 10-acre project. So very low development risk. Here again, the sales risk are very low because the number of units are not large. Even for a 10-acre project, you might have maybe 100, 150, 200 units. So sales risk are very low. The tenor of the project is very important to be noted in real estate, is that the entire development, including sales, collection, approval, gets completed typically in less than 2 years time. So at Giraffe, our focus is to bring investment opportunities in the simplest real estate project that a developer can do, which is plotted development. Because here, from an investor angle, we are taking the lowest approval risk, we are taking the lowest development risk, we are taking the lowest sales risk, and the lowest tenor risk. So 90% of the opportunities that you will see on Giraffe platform will be for this asset class. This is also because of our own experience prior to starting Giraffe. I was managing a plotted development fund of close to 1500 crores, and I managed that fund for almost 8 years. In 8 years, we had zero default, we had zero NPA, and we got almost 17% IRR plus return in Bangalore itself. So that is the asset class which we have now started offering in Giraffe as well, and we want to replicate that. Once you move beyond that, then we have the residential construction, which is apartments. Here, the approval risk is slightly higher than plotted. The development risk is also higher because it will be either G plus 10 structure or G plus 15 structure. So the time taken to build that project also is higher. Although the sales risk is similar to land because at the end of the day, a person is buying for themselves. However, it has higher approval and development risk. Here we are generally focusing on late stage development where we are not taking approval risk, and the development has also been done to a large extent. So those type of opportunities is what we will then bring to the investors for Giraffe. Beyond this, you have non-residential construction, which is retail, shopping mall, commercial industries, warehouses. In these sort of construction, the approval risk is slightly higher as compared to residential, and the tenor is also slightly larger. Infrastructure projects are I would say, the most complex form of real estate projects, where it would be highway, port, etc. Here, obviously, all the risks are higher, be it approval, development, sales, or the tenor risk.
Yeah, thanks. Vineet. So I think from this angle, maybe we can go a little bit and talk about the process in terms of approvals and everything. But I think you can go through it, and if I have questions, I'll probably try to have questions as well along the way. But you can cover this, Vineet.
Sure. I think we'll cover this slightly on the approval risk in this slide itself.
Yeah.
So the framework that we follow to assess a real estate project are basically, across the four categories. What we focus first is the developer profile, because at the end of the day, if the project is getting delivered on time, if the quality is being there as it has been envisaged, if the developer has the capability to get the approval, do the construction, and do the sales, then there is no problem either for the buyers of those asset class and for us as an investor. Hence, the first thing that we do is the developer profile. As I had mentioned, we have done this job for almost 10 years, having managed thousands of crores. So we have known over the years the developers that are good in this asset class, and we typically try and partner with those developers only who have excellent track record of delivery. So that is the first check that we do. Second is the project profile. Here it becomes important to understand the micro market, what is the complexity of the project, whether we are taking any aggregation risk, whether we are taking any conversion risk, what is the execution capability that is needed to complete the project. Okay. Again, as mentioned, since 90% of our focus is to get plotted development projects, the development risk is extremely low for such asset class. The third is the credit assessment. So here it is important the structure that we do and the due diligence we do. So for all the real estate projects, we appoint third party agencies for various due diligence. So say for title due diligence, we'll appoint some of the top law firms of the city where they will do title and legal due diligence that the title of the land is clear. Then we will appoint some IPC like Colliers or Savills, etc., who will do the valuation and technical and sales due diligence for the project. And then we also appoint in certain cases law firms to do corporate due diligence of the companies. So once we get all the due diligence report, we will go through the findings of the report. And once we are comfortable with all the due diligence, then we finalize the terms of the transaction along with the developer and the security package that is needed to protect ourselves. In the security package, for all the real estate projects that we do, we take mortgage of the entire project, we take escrow control of the entire project, we take personal guarantees of the promoters, we take undated checks also as a part of our entire security package. Now, in order to understand what the risk and mitigants are, we have spoken in the last slide also, but I'll just repeat few of those points. So there is a land risk. We ensure that the entire land is tied up with the funding that we provide. We check at the approval risk. In the approval risk, there are actually 2 3 stages of approval: what is pre-construction, during construction, and post-construction. This again, as I said, during the due diligence process, the technical vendor that we appoint, we do the approval risk assessment for every project. And once we are comfortable that the project will get approval in a manner that we have envisaged, that is when we go ahead. And that is where the developer profile also comes into play, because we partner with developers who have proven track record of delivering projects over last couple of decades. So hence we try and reduce the approval risk accordingly. Construction risk, we have already spoken. Financial risk is something: the stability of the developer, what is the overall cash cover in the project, what is the whether the developer has taken a lot of loans, is there any other loan on the project. Typically in any project that we fund, we are the only lender, so that we control 100% of the project. And in case the developer is not able to perform as per this, we also take step in rights where we can get someone else to come into the project and deliver it for us. For the sales risk, again, the developer reputation, their track record comes into play. We also have partnered with couple of large sales agencies who help us sell the projects that where we have invested, so that the monies for the project are received on a timely manner, and the investors can then get their investment back along with returns as per the envisaged plan.
So Vineet, I think while we take additional questions at the end, but this few questions because of my interaction with customers, right? When we take a real estate opportunity, I think you talked about from beginning to end. So what is the time period? Like I start the conversation, by the time I finish and actually make it happen, approve, like how much time it goes into this amount of research, because you put a lot of things here. So how much time it takes for us to get the deal out when we start?
So typically, JP, we spend anywhere between 2 to 3 months easily to get a deal to a stage where we can, bring it for our platform. Because all these due diligence are extremely exhaustive. Like for example, the title due diligence, we go back to almost 40, 50 years back, and we track the title reports and the land title documents before even giving our go ahead for the final title report. So for each stage, such for title, valuation, technical, sales, we do a very deep dive study, and hence it takes us at least 2 to 3 months time before even it's at a fundable stage.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think one of the things on the security side, right? You talk about the mortgage on the product, and I think it sounds so good in the fact that for the entire property land, we have taken a mortgage when we kind of do it. That gives us security for the investors tied to it, and the promoter guarantee we are taking, undated check we are taking. A lot of times people ask me about the escrow control. Can you help me for the listeners here, like escrow control in the form of how we do the escrow control that protects or is beneficial to the investors?
Yeah. So see, escrow control is basically we open one account in the bank of our choice. For example, let's say it's HDFC Bank. We will open a new account. We will sign an agreement with the developer. Okay, that going forward, all the collection from the sales of the project, he has to deposit in this account itself. And this account is called as escrow account. This account is 100% controlled by us. Okay, from this account, then we release payment to developer based on the construction progress. We use the funds in this account to repay the debt or the investment that the investor have done along with the interest. So this account is being 100% controlled by us, it is being monitored by us, and we ensure that the developer puts all the sales receipts for all the sales done into this account only.
Perfect. Thanks, Vineet. I think definitely are
And this is managed by a third party trustee. So it's a
Trustee.
SEBI appointed trustee. So
Yeah.
we work with Midcon, ILFS, and all these people. So it's a third party trustee, Vistara, I mean, sorry. They basically manage this escrow account for us
For
on
us.
behalf of all the investors. Basically.
Investors. Perfect. Yeah, thanks. So with that said, I think we can I think we touched on a few of these in terms of as an investor looking at this product category in the fixed income space, the benefits, why it could be a great addition into my portfolio in terms of adding this, and what are the risks investors should be mindful of the same.
Yeah. So see, one of the I would say unique features of real estate investment as an asset class is that it typically will beat your inflation by at least a 2x. Okay, so if even if you see today currently our inflation is say 7 to 8%, we are getting close to 15-16% plus kind of a return by investing in real estate asset class as a debt instrument. Okay, so that is one of the, I would say, biggest attractive feature of real estate investment, and that is which is actually attracting a lot of funds into our country. Lot of global funds are opening up shop here, is just because of this reason. Plus, now there is a downside protection also here. Typically, any deal that we do, we will have at least 2 to 3 times security cover in the form of the value of the land itself. Apart from that, we have personal guarantees, we have checks, we have escrow control. So there is a good downside protection structure as well. Plus, in real estate, because you are getting from the cash flows of the project in a timely manner during the tenure of the loan, it's a great fixed income source for us. From a diversification angle, again in the fixed income space, okay, you typically have FDs, bonds, etc. So real estate provides a great diversification strategy for the investor as well, along with high return. We as we have spoken about all the risk and mitigants that we take to reduce the overall risk for the investors.
Perfect. I think so. Now, I think let's jump to one of the opportunities. I mean, obviously, we have a lot of opportunities and a lot of coming as well. So we'll talk one of the opportunities, an example, and the one currently we have on the platform is property Madura and with KNS, the developer. Maybe you can a little bit touch on this particular project, Vineet.
Sure. So see, basically this opportunity that we have currently is a 10-acre plotted development done by Madura Group. I'll talk about Madura Group in the following slides. So Madura Group is the landowner who have 10 acre of land in Kanakpura, which is a part of Bangalore South, very close to Sri Ravi Shankar's ashram. Is the land located, and they are doing a simple plotted development project over that 10 acres of the land. Okay, so we now the land acquisition has been done with our fund. So entire land has already been acquired. They have applied for project approvals. We expect these approvals to come in maybe next 6 months time along with RERA etc. And then we expect the project to launch maybe between 6 to 9 months time. Now this project has great access from the main Kanakpura road, which is a highway. Next we can go to the next slide. As we said, in this project, the land itself is giving us over 2x security cover. We also have taken additional security from the promoter of approximately 50 crore of another land parcel very close by in main Kanakpura road, which is valued at 50 crore. So the overall security for this transaction is over 4 times. We have very attractive return structure here. We are getting 17.5% IRR in the transaction. As I said, it's a 10-acre plotted development only, which will easily get completed. Maybe in 18 months' time. We have kept 6 months as buffer. So, 24 months is the tenor of the loan. And minimum investment size, which is typical to us, is at 1 lakh rupees. The Madura Group is a very strong promoter group. We will see in the next slide, who is the landowner, and KNS is a top developer who is basically developing the project. So a brief on Madura Group. Madura Group is promoted by Mr. Chandrasekhar. They are in this business for the last 20 years. They have delivered more than 13 projects in Bangalore, over 7 lakh square feet, and they have partnered with some of the best names in the city like Brigade Group, Salarpuria Group, etc. Now, this project is a total of 12 acres, of which 10 acre is basically the project land where the plotted development will come, and 2 acres we are just keeping as an additional security for us. The entire group is totally debt-free group. Okay, they have zero debt, so extremely strong group, and they are backed for this project by KNS as a development manager. They have taken KNS for this project. We can go to the KNS slide. Yeah. So KNS, I think couple of the investors on our platform would have seen this name earlier as well with us. So we have known KNS Group for maybe last 10 years. I have personally invested in my previous company, and along in this company in Jiraaf also, we have done almost 3 deals with them till date. Both the transaction that we did last year have been fully repaid. So they are one of the biggest plotted development company of Bangalore. They are promoted by Mr. K.N. Surendra. They have completed over 10 million square feet of development in Bangalore. They are currently developing close to 2.5 million square feet and about to launch another 7 million square feet. They have an extremely robust team to complete and deliver the project. They have sufficient inroads to get approval on a timely manner. They have a very big sizable sales team to ensure quick sales. In fact, one of the project by KNS is a 100-acre project, was launched last week in Bangalore. It was one of the biggest project of plotted launched by any developer in Bangalore, and within 2 days, the developer sold almost 2 lakh square feet, which is close to like 200 plots over a weekend. So they are very strong in this development, and hence Madura has appointed KNS as the development manager for this project, and it's only a 10-acre project, which KNS has done, I mean, umpteen number of times, and we don't see any challenges as far as development is concerned.
I think for understanding, so maybe just Vineet, before we go,
Yeah.
right? I think can you differentiate between, for me, KNS and what Madura, what is KNS, what role KNS plays in this entire transaction? They just develop the plot and sell. Maybe you can differentiate between these two.
Sure. So see, here in this transaction, Madura is the borrower of the transaction. We have given money to the borrower. The land belongs to Madura Group. Okay. The role of the landowner is that they have to ensure that the title of the land is clean. Okay. Because eventually they are the one interacting with the original owners of the land. Now, what they do is that they will give the land for development to KNS. KNS's responsibility will be to get the approval on a timely manner, to do the layout design, and then to do sales and construction. So for that, KNS will charge a fee to Madura, okay, which will be say kind of 10, 12, 15% of the total turnover. And that is the role KNS plays. But balance all cash flows basically comes to Madura Group, and we utilize that cash flows to repay our debt.
Perfect. Okay. I think, KNS is very well known for the development, for being a master in doing development, getting approval and selling. And that's one of the reasons we are seeing the KNS being part of a lot of our real estate projects as well. So which is a good thing because of how they approved themselves before. So with that said, I think this, we can talk about this. I think this is actually the deal structure. It has everything. Maybe you can cover.
Sure. As we discussed, the total land area is 14 acres, but 10 acre is the development land area. Balance is security for us. the CLU, which is the change of land use for the project, has been approved. The conversion have been approved. They are applying for the development plan approval, and RERA is expected to get shortly. Okay, so this is about the project. The total deal is around 20 CR is what we had funded to them. As I mentioned earlier, we have overall 4x security cover and all other securities that we have mentioned. The total tenor of the loan is 24 months. The coupon is 16.1% per annum compounded monthly. Hence, the IRR is good for the investors at approximately 17.5%.
And then, yes, this is what the
This is how
repayment.
a cash flow will look for a
Okay.
typical investor. The most interesting thing for me is the investment multiple here. So by investing 1 lakh in around 2 years, you are getting almost 1.3 back. So somebody who is investing maybe 10 lakh is getting almost 13 lakh rupees return in 3 years, which is almost like 15. On an even on an absolute basis is almost like 15% return, and on an IRR basis around 17.5% return. And the payment has been structured on a quarterly basis, so there is a good constant cash flow which is coming from the project on a timely manner.
Got it. Perfect. I think that kind of, yep, perfect. Okay. So I think for folks who are listening on the call, now I'll try to jump into the Q&A. So I'll try to go through the questions as and when I've got it. And if you have any more questions that you want to ask, just type it in. I'll try to make sure that I cover as many as possible. Um, I think yeah, when there is a question about that, will I be seeing leasing and venture debt opportunities posted by Jiraaf? So some of the questions might not be tied directly to real estate. I'll try to answer few, but I'll cover the real estate ones and then I'll come back and if there's anything tied to it. But Aditya, we will be bringing in other leasing opportunities and we'll always be looking to bring more venture debt opportunities as well. So you'll see that in the platform surely. Um, Okay, so the question from Anand Kumar, the cash flows are uncertain. I mean, regarding the prepayment. So our returns are reduced too. Though I understand the IRR is being honored, uh, but prepayments are something I'm looking at it. So will my end cumulative returns be reduced? So how you see that, Vineet?
Yeah, so see, the way I think we should look at this is that it's important that as I explained the escrow mechanism. So what happens is that we get money in the escrow account on an almost daily basis. Our endeavor as an investment platform is to protect the investment for our investors. Okay, so what we encourage investor is to constantly keep on reinvesting the returns that they are getting from our investment, and our focus is that even though the tenor for which you are investing, there is a delay, yeah, from a receipt perspective, still whatever the money that you are getting, you can reinvest in all other opportunities to ensure that there is a constant charge in terms of return.
Yeah, I think if I may add Anant on the same thing, no, I mean, I feel broadly is, I think that's maybe another way you can look at it is how I would say rigorous in our approach in selecting the beautiful opportunities from that angle, where the ability for the borrower is very good that they're paying, and as Vinith said, so we choose those great opportunities where it's only a case where money they are able to give the money back to the borrowers, sorry, lenders much faster, and you can reinvest that in a new opportunity, right? And that's something you would have probably seen that we're bringing more and more real estate projects so you can reinvest them.
And this
What?
also, sorry JP to interrupt,
Yeah,
but this is also, this prepayment in real estate is typical to real estate. Okay, that
yeah,
is how we try and structure. Yeah.
yeah, agreed. Yeah. So, and then another question that comes would be is, what is Giraffe's skin in this offering? Do you also hold any securities?
Yeah. So see, the entire transaction before even offering to our investor is being underwritten by us. So, like in this case, for example, 20 CR is something which we have given from the balance sheet to the developer from our own balance sheet. That is the conviction we have on our underwriting process. As JP had mentioned, it takes us at least 2 to 3 months to underwrite a deal like this. Okay, so once only we are fully convinced, we have we invest the entire amount from our own balance sheet.
Hmm. I think we need this in all the NCD structures. I mean, I'm sure some of the audience might know, but I mean, we take it completely and then we do the deal, we resell it to customers. So that is our aspect of the fact of belief in this. And if there is anything not there, it is held from our side, right? So I think that shows our conviction in kind of participating in the deal as well. The other one which is from CD Garg is there are deals where project is still in land acquisition stage. So we are actually lending where it is used for sending. And we have heard several projects, infrastructure projects specifically, getting stuck in land acquisition stage and later in the regulatory approval stage. Any comment on how these risks are mitigated at Jiraaf side?
Sure. So, Mr. Garg, you are absolutely right. For infrastructure, what happens, especially road, ports, you are acquiring large land parcels. Okay, and then you get stuck in the land acquisition stage. Here, where we fund, we are not funding for, basically where even after funding, they are still in acquisition stage. We fund for acquisition. Like in this case, I'll give you an example. In this deal, it was a 10-acre land parcel. The developer had already paid say 30-40 crore of his fund. From our fund of 10 crore, he has acquired that entire 10 acres. There is no more acquisition, and this is the only project that then they will develop. Okay, so one is land aggregation, one is land acquisition. We never fund for land aggregation. We always fund where there is absolute acquisition with our money. Okay, and for us in real estate, we are typically talking about very small land parcels, 10 acre, 15 acres, etc. Right? In infrastructure, you are talking about hundreds, thousands of acres, and hence those type of acquisition projects are generally stuck. Here, as we explained in one of the slides, our entire entry and exit in the project is less than 2 years with very low approval risk. So we take care of all these factors before choosing an investment opportunity.
I think Neeraj, your question is about the fees overall. I think whatever fees, I mean, the returns we put it for our investors. And regarding how does Giraffe make money? Obviously, Giraffe makes money in originating any of these opportunities as part of originating the different. And the amount of fees varies. It depends on the stage of the project, type of borrower, and all those different things. So next question, Sandita uh, Bandare, explain what do you mean by mortgage of the project land?
Okay. See, mortgage of project land means the entire document of that particular land. We will take control of the entire title document. When I say we, it is the trustee basically. For the debenture, we appoint a debenture trustee. They will take all the original copies of that particular land. They will go to sub-registrar office along with the developer, where the developer mortgages the land in front of sub-registrar office in the system, in the government records, that I am taking this loan for this project, and from today this project I have given on loan on mortgage to this debenture trustee, and he is basically now controlling this land against this loan. So basically in Hindi, if I have to quote it, जैसे जमीन गिरवी में रखते हैं. So mortgage is nothing but कुछ चीज गिरवी में रखना.
Perfect. I think another one I would have is, I think Ashish, we spoke about the escrow mechanism, of how escrow works. I hope that answered your question, but I mean, I think as we said, escrow, we create a new account managed through the trustee. We make sure that the money we give is used for specific purposes and money taken from the escrow account by the borrower. And then when money comes back through receivables, when they do the business, we from the escrow account the payments go. But I think we need to talk about it. I hope that answered your question. But if you not, just message again. I will try to cover that. What is the responsibility of Giraffe in terms of repayment, right?
Yeah.
When proper, this is from Anupam chain, on time and also in the case of default.
Sure. So see, Giraffe's responsibility, we take the debenture holder representative. In case of default scenario, we will basically, work with the trustee on behalf of all the investors to enforce all the security packages that we have. We will appoint, top of the line law firms to represent us in order to enforce those securities. We will be the constant point of communication for all the investors, and we will be doing all the licensing as per the permissible law that we have to ensure that we enforce all the securities that we have to recover the dues that is possible under the permissible court of law.
All right. I think question from Kalyani would be is do projects from Giraffe that picks up or all projects picked up only if it is RERA approved, or do we take it before?
So, Kalyani ji, all the projects that we do, it is mandatory for the developer to get it RERA approved. Now, the approval from RERA can be before our investment also and can be after our investment also. Now, when we enter into a project, we see at what stage we are entering. We enter at various stages of the project. The risk return reward matrix changes when we are entering into the project. However, irrespective of whenever we enter early, we enter in middle, we enter in late, we ensure that the project has to have a RERA approval during our journey of the loan. Now, to the second question, is the escrow account used for transactions the same account used by the developer in regular filing? Yes, we ensure that either if it's an existing project where there is already a RERA account, so we take 100% cash flow from that RERA account into our escrow account. If they have not yet given any escrow account to the RERA, then we ensure that our escrow account number is given to the RERA. In either case, we ensure that whatever money as per RERA has to be deposited comes to our escrow account.
Perfect. I think Kalpesh had I think we covered this, but broadly, I think in terms of multiple on the collateral, just tied to the property, the value we talked about. Worst case, I mean, Kalpesh, I think same thing. Talked about what is the worst case and what is our action. I think which Vineet again covered just now.
I think we have covered this, yes.
Yes. I think in this particular case, Aditya, question is borrowers raising 35 crore, you offer 20 crore. Where is the rest 15 crore? I think it was indicated.
Yeah, no, so the entire transaction is basically 35 crore, Aditya. The first tranche that we invested was for 20 crore. The balance 15 crore is yet to be invested, that we will invest post completion of certain conditions for the transaction.
Yeah. And then Swapnil question, I think we can answer it. It's very clear. Madhura owns the landowner. What does it need to borrow? I think here, I think you
So,
talk about it.
Swapnil, what happens is that they are the landowner now after the acquisition. They are the 100% landowner. So, just to give you an example, suppose this 10 acre of the land, say the total acquisition cost was say 50 crore. They paid 30 crore and we invested 20 crore. As a loan, they took 20 crore. They bought that land for 50 crores and have become the landowner. They are not borrowing this money to pay fees to KNS. KNS will earn the fees from the its own performance on the project, whereas they once they start developing and start selling, from the sales proceed the money will come to escrow and then we will pay to KNS the fees that we have agreed.
I think Naresh, I didn't understand this. Maybe you understand.
Yeah.
For 20 crore
Sorry, I
corpus,
did
why
not
there are only
understand.
1,000 units?
So I did not understand the question. So yeah.
With moratorium of 4 quarters from Niraj, hopefully I'm pronouncing correctly. With moratorium of 4 quarters, how will interest be divided into 2 financial years for tax purposes? TDS. Yes, so mother will deposit TDS and give TDS certificate on interest accrued but not paid.
So Neeraj, I think we will check this and come back to you. How the exact taxation would work. Unless JP, you have an answer for
Yeah,
this.
sure. Normally, I mean, see, normally, typically borrowers, I'll put that way. Specific to Madura, we'll come back as I said. Normally, they accrue it if the from the last payment to the next payment is going over between 2 years. We do normally do the accrual and they report it majority. But some cases they do upfront as well. So we'll confirm specifically in Madura's case and come back to that, Neeraj. Manish, Kaushik, can it taxation? Taxation is simple. This is going to be an added income, so you'll be paying as per your tax slab in terms of income. So that's pretty much it. Typically, 10% TDS deduction will happen as part of your interest at the time of repayment. And when you file it, you will be doing it as per your tax slab. Lohit Nadik, real estate is the main focus of Jiraaf in 2023. I think Vineet, you can answer. But obviously, a lot of experience. No? Vineet is coming from that area as well, so that's one part of it. But Vineet, you can add.
So, Lohit, what I'll say is that Giraffe's focus always has been that, in every time period of, say, 1 to 2 quarters, we try and come up with new products and then build that product for our investor. Because our ultimate motto is that, an investor should have a very, very diversified and healthy portfolio across asset class and across sectors. Okay, like you have that in equity, you should have the same thing in debt. So real estate as an asset class, we started at the beginning of this year. Now, as and when Giraffe is growing, we are trying and bringing one opportunity on a monthly basis, which investors can participate. But having said that, every month we bring opportunities across 7, 8 different sectors of 7, 8 different asset classes, so that the investors are having opportunity to invest across the asset class. That's the ultimate focus.
Perfect. I think, yeah, I think this one you can take. So I think I'll answer
Yeah,
the other one. Krishna
I will.
Narayan Sami is NCDs on demat form and tradable. So typically, you'll liquidity, obviously, you get all the NCD units allocated to your demat. And I mean, obviously, it's unlisted, try to it. But if you find a borrower you can want to trade, you can do it. But they will be coming into your demat account and NCDs. Amit Shah's question, Vineet, you can take it. Past records of the developer,
Yeah.
land, criminal litigation, checks.
We do all these checks, Mr. Ramesh, before funding to anyone.
Then Neeraj, also we purchase in series. So Neeraj, I will answer your question separately on your taxation question. Uh, I'm not able to see Madura project information. This is from Afsal. Not able to see Madura project information listed in any websites for Bangalore State to know the exact reality of the project.
Yeah, so they are yet to launch this, Mr. Afzal, this project. Once it launched, you will get a link.
Okay, I think Ashok Gadam Setti, I think we answered this question about land acquisition, acre development. So part of it they are putting, part of it they're borrowing.
Yeah.
Interest pay monthly, quarterly. Krishna Narayan, interest is payable on monthly, quarterly, or maturity. I think in this case, principal is coming at different point in time, but I think if I look at only, I think
Interest is payable on a quarterly basis.
quarterly basis.
Yes. First, there is an accrued interest, and then
Yes.
post after the for that time period.
Moratorium. After the moratorium,
After the moratorium, then it is quarterly basis. Yeah.
Who's responsible to sell plots? KNS. Yeah, that is correct.
Yes, that is KNS's responsibility.
You sounded like Madura deal is a low risk one. This is from Lifto Kolang Garden.
Yeah.
However, it is showing platform is as high risk. Why so?
Yeah. So, Mr. Lifto, what we do is that, from a security package, yes, you're absolutely right. It checks a lot of the boxes to be categorized as a low risk investment. The only reason why we, categorize all real estate investment under the high risk category is primarily because of couple of approvals wherein they are dependent on government regulatory bodies to get that for themselves. Now, in some cases, what can happen is that there might be, say, a delay of a month or so. That is the only reason. But to mitigate that, what we do is that we only partner with top of the line developers, like in this case KNS is responsible to get the approvals for them, so it gets mitigated to a very large extent. But still, because there is this probability, we just categorize it as high risk.
I think Garg question is about the approval as well. RERA approval timing. Any timing on this from a RERA approval standpoint tied to this particular project?
Yeah, so we expect first development plan and then RERA approval, all of these things to come by 6 months time.
I think a good question from Anand Kumar, efficiency. I think we have not talked about the word efficiency anywhere. But in a real estate project, what does that efficiency mean is the question. And you
Sure.
said 54%.
So Mr. Arun, for efficiency for a plotted development, I'll just try to explain it very simply. Suppose if you take 1 acre of land, a square 1 acre of land, and the land area 1 acre is equal to 43,000 square feet approximately. Now you need to build roads. Okay, so now once you cut the roads and you need to build some park and infrastructure, so the available land which is left is approximately 54%. That is what you basically then sell as plots. Balance land goes away in road, amenities, and infrastructure.
Perfect. Uh, I think I'll take one thing, which is about the debenture from Ashok Gadam. So Ashok, when you invest in any of the opportunity, right, for an NCD, so what happens is as soon as you do the investment, you would be required to provide your demat account details, right? There is NSDF procedures that will provide that information. And once you complete the investment, we will allocate the NCD units to your demat account. So you will see those units automatically being shown in your demat account. So I think that's how the debentures are going to be showcased in your demat accounts. RERA not allotted. I think Naresh is asking, but you talked about it. KNS is pretty good in the form on that, but what if RERA is not allotted? That's a question for you, Vineet, in terms of approval. What if the RERA is not getting approved? I think that we covered it. KNS as a developer knows what needs to be done and they're experienced in getting the approvals and everything. What is the structure used for issuing in NCD? Is there any? What is the structure used for issuing the NCDs?
So there's a private limited company which issues the NCD, and it's an
NCD,
SPV where this project is located.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have one question on the type of mortgage. So here we do registered mortgage in the sub register office, and which is recorded in the government files basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
If
So
dogs are mortgage, on whose names approvals will come? KNS or Madura or trustee?
Sorry. In the docs, if the docs are mortgaged, on whose name approvals will come? So the approval will come in the name of the Madura because KNS is a development manager only. If they would have done a JDA, then approval would have come in the name of KNS.
Okay, and Parag, I think, Parag, I mean, I'll acknowledge it. Sometimes the projects go fast. Like one of the projects, Urban U specifically, had done phenomenally very well when it comes to selling the units. So there were a lot of prepayments that have happened on the principal. So from a risk side, I mean, I feel great at the fact that, okay, fantastic project, paid back the money. But as I said to you, we also had other rare news projects. Now we are doing Madura, there will be other projects. So I would definitely recommend you to reinvest them into other real estate deals. Right. Okay, why does the developer need funds from us? Why can't they borrow from banks, NBFC? This question comes a lot.
Sure.
Right.
So see, banks definitely all these developers. If you see their banking lines and profile, you will find banks and BFCs and people like us. One of the reasons they prefer banking with NBFCs or with funds is our ability to structure the transaction. See, banks typically they don't understand deal structuring per se. They do a typical template funding. Okay, but where if you need to structure a transaction, then they prefer to partner with funds or prefer to partner with certain NBFCs who have this knack, or with us because we come from similar background and we structure transaction almost like a top quality fund would structure. Hence, this is something that they appreciate and partner with us.
Neeraj Kumar Gupta, who will sell the plots? KNS is responsible for selling the plots. Dispute resolution mechanism, we talked about it, Kalpesh, about what will happen if who decides IRR. It is along with the borrower how much we kind of decide that. I think this question anyway we answered, but maybe we can cover it. No, if KNS is unable to sell and Madura is the borrower, how are KNS liabilities covered in the deal? I mean, obviously KNS gets a fee.
So it's a DM agreement. If KNS is not able to perform, we have the right to cancel the DM agreement and appoint someone else to take charge of the project. However, KNS has over last 10 years they have time and again proved their capability to build, sell, and develop plotted development projects.
Yeah,
but we do step in rights under the agreement as our right that we can change them if the need be.
I think Ashok's question. See, in real estate, government. So I think Ashok's Gadam Seti's question is about registration value and market value. I think we are talking about the way for land plots in terms of registration value compared to the market value beneath. So
Yeah,
we're going
so
with the market
we register the land at market value only,
market value.
irrespective of whatever at the acquisition value, which is typically higher than the registration value.
Registration value. Yeah, exactly. I think we are already at 6. I think I hope we covered significant, quite a lot of questions, more than 67 questions you have answered for all. So I want to be appreciative of the time. So I think thanks, Vineet, for joining, and thanks everyone for taking the time on an evening and joining us. And I hope we covered and answered all your questions. Again, we'll meet you again on another episode on a different topic as well. So thanks again for joining.